Right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar for IMI Postgraduate and MBA programs. My name is Greta Musu, and I'm the Director of Business Development. And here's my colleague.
Good afternoon for me. My name is Ioannis Avaggelou. I'm the Postgraduate Programs Leader. Welcome to the webinar.
So we will start off the webinar with just a little introduction about IMI and then move on to more of the academic requirements, which Yannis will handle. And of course, we're also open to questions from your end. So feel free to type in your questions, and we will either get to them as you type them in, or perhaps we'll get to them at the end, depending on how the webinar proceeds. Excellent. So IMI is the International Management Institute, as you can see in the presentation on the screen. Hopefully you can see it clearly on your screen. We can share the presentation with you later also for you to have it handy. So no need to take notes, as they would say. So IMI is located just outside the city of Luzern in the German-speaking part of Switzerland. However, please don't panic. You don't need to speak any German to come to IMI. Actually, everything is taught in English. And I'm not sure if you can hear also from the microphone, perhaps the sound of the cowbells. But it's a very, very beautiful location, typical of the area. We are not in the center of the city, but we're actually just outside. It's 15 minutes by bus from the center of the city, so very convenient and also very good for studying, because actually you're not in the middle of all the temptation. You're still a little bit away from it all. And what is quite unique about IMI is we are a family business. We're a small university, so classes are actually very small and personal. Here at IMI, you will be between 7 and 15 students in the class, probably, on the postgraduate diploma and on the MBA degree program. So you do have a lot of individual attention with the lecturers. And also what is good is that we work a lot with group work, with assignments, and with presentations. So we do not have the traditional exams, as you would call them, on the program. And I think Yannis will also mention this during the presentation. So we have Konstantinos, hello from Athens. I think there's quite a few Greek people actually on the webinar today, which is great. Of course, Mr. Yannis is also from Greece, so feel free to ask your questions. And if any of you have any personal questions, what we can always do is, of course, call you either today or at some other point to discuss yourselves personally. Okay, so enough with the main introduction on IMI. I'll move on just a little bit to talk about perhaps the what makes us different. As you can see behind, or on the screen rather, this is the view from the terrace at IMI. It's very beautiful today. Maybe it's not quite as blue. It's a little bit cloudy today, but still beautiful.
Quite warm.
Yes, very warm at the moment. We're on par, I would say, with the Mediterranean region at the moment.
That's right, yes.
So as I mentioned earlier, we have the family atmosphere and the small class sizes. This is a unique selling point, we feel, because in actual fact, we're also able to give individual advice and guidance on the placements, whether it is the internship that is done during the program or the job and the management training that we secure for our students for after the program. So we're able also to give really a lot of individual guidance, and this I think really does result in happy students who are pleased with the outcome for their career. Also, what is important here is that we do have qualifications that come also from the UK. So from some of the programs that we offer, not all of them, but for some of the programs, you will also get a validated UK degree. And this, of course, has a lot of value in the marketplace in terms of recognition. IMI is also pleased to have been selected to run a Swiss degree program starting in August, taught entirely in English. This is more on the undergraduate side. So of course we will not talk about this today because we already had the webinars last week. The focus today is going to be on the postgraduate programs. And this is a key point actually, especially for the MBA programs. We do have very strong industry links, and what makes the program actually quite interesting, or more interesting I would say, than a traditional program, is the fact that people who teach on the program some of them are actually industry experts who come specifically from outside to share their knowledge with the students. So, for example, the former Vice President of Human Resources for Fairmont, Raffles and Swissôtel Hotels, which is now obviously part of the Accor Group. So Mr. Botteron actually taught at IMI or teaches at IMI and comes to share his experience with the students. This is not only beneficial from a course perspective, from an academic perspective, but also, as you can imagine, from a networking perspective for future career opportunities. Excellent. In terms of the students, the kind of students that we have at IMI, what I want to share with you here is the fact that we have an international student population. As I mentioned already, we like a family business. And here what we want to secure is this sense of community. So at IMI, we actually welcome over 35 plus nationalities per semester. To give you a perspective, we're about 170 or 180 students on campus at any one time. So you can imagine from 35, 40 nationalities. At the moment, we have 40 actually. We don't have too many of anyone, if you know what I mean. So the interactions in class are also very interesting because you will be sharing your experiences with students coming from different backgrounds and also from different nationalities. And maybe one point to make here is that if you do not have a bachelor's degree in hospitality, it is no problem because actually all of our postgraduate programs, we accept students from any bachelor's degree. Okay, and this is actually maybe an important point for all of you to be aware of. Okay, we also focus a lot at IMI on the student experience, and you can see here for the shiny car is not for any test drives, but more so that our students went to visit the Geneva Motor Show recently in March. And this was specifically organized for the events major students. Obviously, to see how a luxury event is organized. We also have the World Tourism Forum, and this is held in Lucerne once every 2 years in April normally, and our students are actually invited to participate. IMI is the only service provider, the only school rather, to provide students for the World Tourism Forum. And of course, the experience is huge because the students really can interact with the industry. We also have the Lucerne Marathon for the fit students who want to run, fantastic. For the ones who are maybe not so fit and would prefer to be serving refreshments and helping in the organization, then of course this is also a possibility. And last but not least, we are a hotel-orientated school or looking at the hospitality industry in general. So we obviously also have hotel and resort visits. And this is important also for students to see perhaps the way a hotel is run from the back side, not from the guest side, but actually from the staff side. This is actually quite important. Good. I will now shift presentation, and Yanis will now take over to talk about specifically the postgraduate programs. As I mentioned earlier, please feel free to type in your questions. So if anything comes to mind whilst we're speaking, please do feel free to type it in.
Yes.
Okay, over to you, Yanis.
Okay. Welcome from me as well. I hope you can hear me well. I'm going to go through a very quite brief presentation on the postgraduate programs we offer at IMI. I hope you can also see the presentation, PowerPoint slides. So we will be starting with the postgraduate diploma, and then I will continue with the MBA in International Hospitality Management and the Luzern MBA. Okay, I'm going to use this laser pointer and go through the slides. Is it?
Yeah, just a second. Sorry, let's get the mouse back on this side. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Fantastic. So the first slide here, the postgraduate diploma in international events, hotel and events management. Sorry, is a conversion course for students without experience in the hospitality industry. This is a course which has been designed to provide students with some practical, but at the same time management skills, and a set of skills that they need to break into the industry, I would say. Entry-level positions in the hotel events in the industry. So as you can see from the slides, we put a lot of emphasis on operations and management. This course runs for an academic semester, which is actually divided in 2 academic terms. Overall, we're talking about a semester lasting for 22 weeks and an academic term lasting for 11 weeks. There's a small break in between. I think the next slide also has the units that someone can attend, including food and beverage operations, front office management, marketing, financial accounting, and of course, this is complemented with a number of practical hours spent on duties in the main dining hall and also in our in-house training restaurant, the Swiss Room.
So to give you an idea maybe on students who normally join this program, we've had lawyers, we've had engineers, we've had people coming from really different backgrounds, maybe have graduated in English, for example, and they've decided that maybe their specialization is not that interesting to them anymore, and they wish to explore the hospitality industry as an alternative. This is actually one of the benefits of hospitality, because with a hospitality qualification, you're actually employable in a lot of different sectors, not just hotels, restaurants, or tourism, but actually also retail and banks and several other industries or sectors that are willing to hire hospitality graduates.
Okay, so actually this postgraduate diploma can be a very interesting pathway into towards our MBAs. The programs we offer at IMI. And of course, students actually choose to do an internship straightforward after they finish their semester, so they're exposed to, they have the opportunity to be exposed in the professional world.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they choose either to stay in Switzerland or go abroad.
This is the flexibility that students, so the internship is not in a set department and it's not in a set location. We deal, as I mentioned earlier, with the students individually, so we talk about your motivations. We ask you, what are your salary expectations? Do you need to repay your loan, for example? Do your parents have any set expectations for your internships? Do you have any set expectations? What are your language skills, etc.? So we talk through all of these points individually, and then we would help you to get a placement, whether it is in Switzerland or internationally. Can I just remind you that in Switzerland, the internships pay 2,179 Swiss francs gross per month. This is in euros. I think the majority of you would understand euros. It's about 2,000 euros a month. Really?
Yes.
Right? This is gross, so before tax, and then from this amount of money, you generally pay a little bit of tax, a little bit of a little bit of money for room and meals and health insurance. So you're normally looking at about 1,200 euros net money in your pocket.
Or sometimes even higher.
Sometimes could be higher, sometimes could be lower. It just depends really on the location. So, for example, if you're placed in a chalet up the mountain, normally the accommodation is less expensive than if you're in the center of Geneva. So this is where of course there is a little discrepancy. And just maybe to remind everybody that the postgraduate diploma runs 4 times a year.
Yes.
So you have intake starting in February, in May, in August, or in November. Right? And as Yanis mentioned, you have basically 6 months of study, so 22 weeks, almost 6 months. Actually, it is 11 weeks, 1 week break, 11 weeks.
So as you can see here with the black box.
Exactly, the black box.
It's a 6 months.
And then the internship afterwards. We also have had students who have continued to do a second internship after the compulsory one, or actually not compulsory, it's optional, but it does become compulsory once you opt for it. And some students also select to do a second one after that. And normally the second one is not in Switzerland for permit reasons, but we have helped to place students either in Dubai or USA or Jamaica or Thailand or Maldives or other places, of course, where you're able to get a work permit.
Yes, and also in some countries like the US, if I may add, when students go there for internship, then they stay for a minimum a year because of the visa, which again is very useful for them to get more experience.
And we have quite a few postgraduate students who first go out to get the experience, and then they return to continue on to an MBA degree because, of course, in like everything in life, competition is there, right?
Exactly.
And of course, having a higher qualification will always help you to get a better position in the future. So
shall we move a little bit to see an overview of the classes and the units? So that's the entry requirements that come first, right? Okay, with the bachelor's degree and the language requirement, which is IELTS 5.5.
Yep, or equivalent.
Yep.
So this is important. We don't only accept IELTS, we also accept TOEFL, we accept Pearson's, we accept Cambridge, and in some cases we can also do an online test or a Skype interview.
also test.
Exactly. So if you're unsure about the English entry requirements, you can always speak to us and we'll advise you individually.
Absolutely. So the start dates, the 4 intakes, were already explained: February, May, August, November. And the program units, here we have 7 units spread over an academic semester. So 2 of those units continue throughout the semester, and we have personal professional development, which is a core unit for all of our programs to study here, because we place a lot of emphasis on your personal and professional development. Then the hotel facilities and operations, as you can see, as explained earlier, the program has a focus on management but also operational aspects, talking about hospitality accounting, food and beverage service, event operations, not to forget the management of people, human resource management, and marketing. Obviously, that's the selection of the units that we have for our postgraduate diploma.
Okay, we have a question, Yanis, from Julia. So are there any final exams or projects of some kind?
Assessment is actually based on individual coursework across the units. That's a very good question, because I think 99% sure about that. There's only one exam in those units, and that's hospitality services marketing. The rest of the units are assessed through individual coursework, which is reports, either an essay or an individual report. There's, of course, group work in terms of either a group essay, group report, and a group presentation.
And of course, on the service classes, there's the practical.
Oh yes,
practical exams, because of course you're learning how to serve, so there's also the observation there.
Absolutely. So for these ones, there's only one exam, and that is in hospitality services marketing.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much. I think we can continue to the next slide, which is our MBA in International Hospitality Management. I cannot have enough time to talk about this MBA, because this is our prestigious MBA qualification, validated one of the best in hospitality and tourism UK institutions, Manchester Metropolitan University. The program has been revalidated, reapproved, have been through numerous quality auditing, and we're very proud actually of this MBA, because we receive excellent feedback from our students and also from an employability point of view. Again, this one is a validated course, and that means that students are receiving the IMI MBA, but also the MBA qualification from Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK. You can also see in the slides. The program here has a strong strategic management orientation. Okay, and if you can see, I'll show you later the units that the MBA program is consisted of. We're looking at 8 core units, so there are no options here. 8 units, including a dissertation at the end, and we're talking about a quite intensive program delivered over a period of an academic semester, which again is divided into academic terms. I'll show you the units later. Yes, Greta, do you want to say something?
No, there was actually a question by Julia, another question
yes.
About a final project with the help of a tutor. So to answer that question for the PG, Julia, no.
No.
So the PG does not have a final year project kind of thesis, dissertation, but the MBA degree programs do. And for that, yes, you are allocated a supervisor, and the supervisor will assist you, or will give you feedback rather about the work that you produce. But important here is that the project is actually not done on campus, so it's done remotely. So it's actually a non-residential part of the program.
Yes, some students sometimes choose to stay for a while at IMI after they finish their core element for the first very, very important dissertation supervisory meetings. Okay, and then when they settle everything for their dissertation, they go abroad or outside to do their primary research. A good option here also is, if I can show you, can I just go to the next slide? Looking at the units, and I'll go back to that. If you see, for example, here, well, the dissertation is not included, but students have the option to do either a typical academic MBA dissertation or a consulting project. Okay, this is what we call as a field consulting project. Since we are recruiting students who come from also from a family background in running and having a business, they do this MBA to get of course, further knowledge and understanding about the industry, and to further upgrade and improve their knowledge on the sector. But since many of them, they also have a family business.
Yes, absolutely.
They use a dissertation in
creating the business plan, for example.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Creating a business plan, or even solve a real-life business problem through a case study approach on their business. So if you have something like that, we can also consider a field consulting project. Exactly.
We've had actually 2 projects also done with hotel chains. So, for example, we had one student, a German student, who did a project for the Kempinski.
Yes.
This was a few years ago. And also we had 2 other students, both from Canada, who did a project for Movenpick Hotels and Resorts, and this was related to the Green Globe certification. And they basically did, it was the same project, but they both focused on 2 different angles. I think one was more HR related, and the other one was more from a customer sort of point of view. So, very highly, of course, it's very easy to say I will write about a topic, but actually,
yes, of course, you can always do a research-based dissertation.
But the field consulting project is also interesting.
Also includes research, yes, absolutely. So it's more applied.
Exactly. And to clarify, the dissertation is in the second part of the program. So the first part of the program, the green box that you can see on the slide, that is your 6 months on campus, 22 weeks on campus, following the highly intensive academic.
Exactly. So that means that let's make it more practical. We have 2 intakes on the MBA. So you can either choose to enroll the program February or August. So say, for example, you start with this August and you finish the core element by February.
Exactly.
And then you have the option of either going for an internship or continue straight with your dissertation. Okay, the internship is optional, the professional practice that you can see in the white box. And then you can start your dissertation straightforward, and then you can finish the MBA in a year. But if you choose to opt for professional practice straight after your core element, then your MBA will take you a year and a half.
Exactly. On this program, I think not many students actually do the internship because the students already should come in with at least 3 years work experience, right? So of course, the internship is not that important at this stage, yes. But certainly for the other MBA that we'll talk about in a moment, students actually can join without any experience, and therefore, of course, then the internship is much more important.
Exactly.
However, any student who comes to Switzerland to study for 6 months at IMI is then eligible to do a 6 months internship as well. And this maybe is important more from a more from a financial point of view, perhaps for some students as well. It's a good way to sort of already get the return on the investment.
Yes.
Also, you could learn a new language, which is obviously very helpful in this industry. And thirdly, it could also give you some breathing space between the academic semester and the dissertation to perhaps also start your research maybe a little bit slower, and then really after the internship focus on completing.
Yeah, most students they actually come up with the idea even before they finish the core elements, the taught units. So as you can see, for example, we have units on competitive, for example, competitive strategies, hospitality, business research methods. Obviously, it's an integral part of any MBA program. International hotel management, where we take our students to outside companies. Let's say, for example, next week we're going to the headquarters of Hyatt in Zurich. And our students do dedicated specialized training on international hotel management and human resources practices there. It's a tailor-made program that Hyatt is doing for us. In the past, we were also cooperated with Swiss hotels, especially from this year onwards, we have Hyatt as a strategic partner coming on board. Finance and revenue management and hospitality. Students, they come up with a real-life project which links with the leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation in hospitality, where actually students are pitching up with a new business idea in front of a panel of investors. In the past, we had a number of projects coming from Southeast Asia on new business ideas, and actually students had the opportunity to secure funding from external investors.
Yeah, great opportunity.
Yes, that was a project on the sharing economy, something linked with Airbnb. If I can say a few more words about it. Sustainable Tourism Destination is a unit I teach, and we're very, very lucky to have Professor Chris Cooper. If you are involved in the tourism industry, maybe this name rings a bell. Chris is one of the most well-known scholars in the industry, currently teaching at Oxford Brookes University in the UK. So Chris is a frequent visiting lecturer with us, delivering sustainability for the destinations, marketing concepts, the digital age. We invite people from Expedia in Paris, and more specifically, Mr. Kevin Moffrey, who is a top guy for Expedia, and he's always giving us his insights on electronic and digital marketing, something we cannot avoid nowadays. Okay, we're using a platform for technological platform. What else can I say about it? It's quite intensive. I can give you more information. Most units, they're assessed through individual coursework. Group work is very much the case here. For our MBA, a lot of group work, a lot of background reading, preparation for in-class activities, few outside field visits. So, for example, I can think of the Bergestock Resort, which is just across the lake, a big investment by the Qatar Foundation, which is opening this year, and we take our students up there in the mountain. You cannot see the mountain now because I have to turn the laptop, but you can see from a camera, I suppose, from a camera.
Yeah, it's a project with about 4 hotels and self-catering apartments and basically, yeah, a huge spa,
and a huge event venue as well.
Maybe Yannis, the entry requirements. So are you eligible for the program? So basically, you need to enter this program, you will need to have a bachelor's degree in any subject. So the bachelor's degree can be in hospitality, in engineering, in law, it doesn't really matter. You need to have at least 3 years work experience, again, in any sector. And we accept work experience to be also internships, part-time work, voluntary work, seasonal jobs, etc. So, because we speak to a lot of students and they say, I don't have work experience. And then you talk to them and suddenly they have 2 years, 2 years and a half of, of ad hoc working experience. So all the working experience counts. Please do write it in your CV.
But it's very, very important. If I can add one thing here, is like we want to see students with good experience in that program because we want to actually exploit all possible dynamics from bringing up together a good group of students, because learning is happening not only the traditional way, I talk, you listen, and then you memorize, no exams.
The exchange of ideas.
Exactly, absolutely.
Yeah. And then the last requirement is the IELTS. So it's either IELTS 6.5 or the equivalent in TOEFL, or again, it depends if your bachelor's degree was entirely taught in English. We also have some exemptions. If, of course, your mother tongue English, then you don't need IELTS, etc. So I won't confuse you too much about the English entry requirements. If you are interested, you can send us your CV, and I can call you personally to guide you, depending on your background and experience. Before we move on to the next program, do any of you have any questions?
The start dates here, February and August.
Yeah, February and August. Maybe for the benefit of Katerina, who wrote a message earlier, but I'm not sure she's still online. I'm sorry you couldn't hear us. Hope everyone else is still okay and hearing us properly. If you have any questions, please do just pop us a note in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I think we can move to the next program. So the program units here, the next one, one more slide here, just to remind you. This program is validated by Manchester Metropolitan University. And again,
the structure here.
That's the structure, semester 1 with the 22 weeks, standard campus, the 120 credits. That's the overall credits that you carry as an educational program. That's the credits you get after you complete the units. And then the dissertation, which counts for 60 credits. So in total, the postgraduate qualifications in the UK should have a minimum of 180 credits. Okay, and the 22 weeks, meaning another semester that you usually, maybe that's a question as well, how long time you have to finish your dissertation. That's usually 6 months.
So it's 20, basically all of our semesters are 22 weeks.
Exactly.
So the dissertation is also due within the 22-week semester.
So the IMI Luzern MBA is the next one, which again, this is a program which is, we run for some years. Here we have some unique elements. First of all, this program has 2 pathways. Okay, as you can see in the PowerPoint slide, one pathway is in Swiss hotel management operations. And the second one is on luxury business services management for hospitality. Okay, the real difference, I mean, the 2 main differences here compared to the MNU MBA. The first one is this is a program which is accredited by a professional association in the UK, the United Kingdom, I mean, the Confederation of Tourism and Hospitality. Another thing that I want to mention is that the CTH accredits up to the postgraduate diploma in this qualification. And then when you do your dissertation, because this program also includes a dissertation, then you are awarded the IMI MBA in either Swiss Hotel Management Operations or Luxury Branches Services Management Hospitality. The requirements, again, the bachelor's degree in any discipline. The good thing about this program is that you don't need to have any experience.
Yes.
So even if you're just a fresh graduate without any previous working experience, with less than 3 years, exactly, then the Luzern MBA, I think, is a very good option for you. And here the English requirements are not 6.5 but 6 IELTS or equivalent.
Equivalent, exactly.
Okay.
Maybe the only restriction we put here is that if you come in with absolutely no experience, then the expectation is that you will do the internship, the professional practice part. In order, of course, because finishing an MBA and not having work experience is obviously not very good for the industry. So if you come in with really no experience, then you will be asked to do the internship semester. This would then mean that your program is 18 months long and not 12 months. So 6 months study, 6 months internship, then you leave Switzerland and you have 6 months on your dissertation from home. So the maximum duration you can stay in Switzerland with the study permit is 1 year.
Okay, that's very useful information. And let's see the pathways. This program has a core body of core modules. Okay, for both pathways, we have 8 units. Okay, 8 subjects, if you want to call it this way, plus the dissertation. Okay, and then every pathway has 4 pathway units. So this program has even more units compared to the MNU MBA. So it's even more intensive, yes, I would say. The difference here is that we have individual assessment for most of the units, no exams, again. Okay, so I'm going to give you an overview. Well, the end requirements, I think we already discussed about those. The bachelor's degree, no work experience needed, and the IELTS 6 or equivalent. Again, likewise, as in for the MNU MBA, we have 2 intakes, February and August. So the first pathway is Swiss Hotel Management Operations, and the pathway 2, which is the Luxury Branch Services Management. The CDH, that's the logo of the Confederation of Tourism and Hospitality. Semester 1, same structure, 6 months study on campus, divided in 2 academic terms, 120 credits, the optional internship, paid in Switzerland or abroad. Okay.
That's it. Yeah, you can decide again with the help of the internships team. Just to clarify, the internship here is also paid in Switzerland, and it is paid the same amount as on the other courses, so 2179. This is actually a legal requirement, and I think you probably will not find any other country that pays internships so high. So for those of you perhaps who really want to gain that European experience, or perhaps want to have some funding, I think the internships in Switzerland, tend to be a very good option. And of course, we do offer basic German or basic French classes at IMI for our students who wish to do internships in Switzerland. These are free of charge. Right?
Okay, they're not compulsory, they're optional, but if you decide to do the language, you have to go all the way through and pass the language units, which is a great help for students who want to improve their language skills.
You're in the business of hospitality. Communication is, of course, what I suppose you're looking for. So, of course, languages are always very important.
Yes.
What did I do? That's the end of it, I think.
Yes, I thought I had apologies for that. I thought I had a slide with the units. However, I can give you information more about the units either verbally, orally, here now. And I can also send you information later. So the core units, again, most of the units, they are served with the MNU MBA. So the competitive strategies, which we call international strategic management. We have business research methods, human resources across cultures, financial management, entrepreneurship and leadership in hospitality. This program, the CDHL MBA, also has international events operations and economics and management. And the pathway units, that's the specialization units for each pathway. So, for example, for the Swiss hotel management operations, we're looking at hotel revenue management, which is something very, very important. The international hotel management operations, quality management systems, and real estate management. And the second pathway, which is for luxury brands and services management, we have visiting lecturers from the industry. For example, we have the brand management of Bucherer, the watchmakers here in Luzern, Dominic Stam, who is coming to teach Introduction to Luxury Business Management, consultants from the industry, Michelle Grant, for example, who is a dedicated consultant for luxury brands. Larry Bowman as a consultant. We also deliver units on customer relationship management, luxury brand design workshops. We also take students to field visits when appropriate to outside companies. This is briefly what I can say about this program. And again, I hope that you saw the merit of joining the CDHL MBA if you don't have the professional experience to join the MMU MBA. Particularly for this one, the Luzern MBA, this is even more intensive. Okay, but again, I can always give you more information if you need further information about the units and the assessment, because I believe that would be a questions coming later.
I mean, of course, to summarize, I mean, we wanted to have a suite of programs that is suitable for most students. So whether it is for those who want to convert into hospitality, those who want to improve their knowledge of hospitality, those who have work experience, those who don't have work experience. So, you know, there is a wide variety of choice here. And maybe before we keep sort of us talking a little bit more, perhaps we can answer your questions about anything that perhaps was not clear or anything you would like to know more about.
Yes, further detail. Yeah.
Anyone has any other questions at this point? Wait a second till they type.
Yes.
Perhaps one point from my end, my background here at IMI is also in careers. Previously, my position was as head of career services. Just a little point about what does an MBA bring to you in your life? I mean, what is the benefit of the MBA? And I think what is important here is, of course, the MBA will give you the tools to become a better leader, right? The MBA in itself is not enough, however, to become a better leader. You also need the work experience. And therefore, the return on the investment of the MBA is normally in 3 years down the line, right? So we want, of course, students to come in, really utilize the time that they have at IMI to make connections, build a network, you know, learn more about the industry, and then go out in the industry, prove themselves, and move quickly up to the next level. Because actually nowadays, you need to have a master's degree or an MBA to be considered for management roles.
Not to forget also, to capitalize further on what you said, it's like also the influence of a foreign culture and a foreign country, and also the opportunities that they're opening up after you graduate with an MBA. And you have access to a very diversified sectors, first of all, because it is in the hospitality industry, you can work in so many different sectors.
Absolutely.
From the cruise industry to the hospitality sector and many others.
I mean, you can also go to the non-typical, industries. Hospitality is actually probably the largest industry in the world if you think about it.
Even become a consultant on your own. I mean, after I'd done my master's, I started working as an independent consultant where I spent time in Greece, and that was quite interesting as well. Some of our students actually are becoming consultants and freelancers after a while, and they're working with on themselves, which is another employment opportunity.
Excellent, exactly. Yeah. So I think for all of those of you who are looking perhaps for a chance to get international exposure, for perhaps a qualification that is going to allow you to travel, allow you to expand your horizons, then we feel that, of course, what we offer here at IMI will be a suitable base for you, a suitable qualification. I think we don't seem to have any questions, so of course we won't press for more, but feel free, please, to contact us individually if you wish to have an individual consultation. We can talk through your academic background, your experience,
yes,
and let you know which program sort of we feel is the best one for you. And we can do that more on an individual basis. The email address to use to contact us is very simple. It's info@imi-luzern.com. It's the one on the website, so don't worry. It will also be in the PowerPoint presentation that we will send to you in the next day or two for you to have also the overview of what we have just discussed.
We can also be available for a Skype consultation if needed, if you have some more questions, more specific questions.
And for any of you, the good news now is, of course, in terms of pricing, of course, all the pricing is on the website. Feel free to go through it. We can also guide you there on the pricing individually, but we do have a special offer for those of you looking to join the August intake, which is the next one coming up. For the MBA degree program, we are offering a 6,000 Swiss franc reduction.
For both MBAs?
For both MBAs, exactly. And we do also have some early bird discounts. So those of you looking perhaps to apply for the February intake next year or even the August intake next year, we can accept applications in advance. And obviously, the earlier you enroll, the earlier you pay the registration fee, then the more of a deal that we can basically offer you. Thank you, Demetrius, for your for your feedback. Very interesting. We do hope so. Yes, these information sessions are, of course, to give you all of the information.
Thank you very much for your comments. We hope that was interesting for you, and we
hope to hear from you in the near future. Okay, unless any of you have any questions. No, it seems just nice comments about the presentation. That's nice as well. So we wish you a very nice afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, and look forward to speaking to you in person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.